Cardano versus Ethereum. We have Charles Hoskinson firing some shots. So is the Cosmos founder. This is around the blockchain. All right, guys, make sure you hit that like button because we got 4 phenomenal guests and 2, we're looking forward to hear some of the tech side of stuff as well. We're going to start with Paul. Paul, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me. Happy after Thanksgiving to everybody out there.
Yeah, low smog out
holiday
there.
so far. No smog for us at all.
Yeah, can't take. Also on, we have Scott Herman. Scott, some of his older videos are starting to blow up with the glow up. Scott, how are you doing today?
What's up? I fear I might be a little too hardcore today because I've been sick since Thursday, and I'm in that that headspace where I was doing my research and all the topics today, and I was just like, I'm gonna get right to the point when we talk about them. So get ready.
All right. Well, no fear, and guys, don't fear that like button. Make sure you go and hit that. In the studio, we have Dr. Adam Lowe. We call him Mr. Patton. I'm just going to start calling you Dr. Patton. Adam, how are you doing today?
Doing great. It's been great to chat with the team, talk crypto all day. It's been fun.
All right. And he's from the Arculus team, if you're wondering. And then last but not least, coming in with Tokyo time, but he's not drifting. It's Moonin Papa. Moonin, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm awake. That's the best sign ever.
All right. Tokyo Drift, second best Fast and Furious. All right. Let's just get right into the first story here. Splitting the atom is now a science channel, and we're going to learn about elements. No, we're talking about Cosmos, everybody. The Cosmos founder, if I could share this tweet, kind of sums up everything. Cosmos founder Kwon kicking up a storm in the blockchain world. He proposed a fork named ATOMOne amidst the heated debate over Atom's max inflation rate. And if you look here, the vote went down. 41% supported the vote. 31% was against the vote. However, he went hard on Twitter afterwards, folks. It's over the inflation rate. The inflation rate is going to drop from 14%, is going to drop to 10%. Well, he started spitting fire, everybody. There's so much antipathy to a split fork that the early adopters ought to be rewarded for being early and taking the risk against common sense. But the second tweet, he really turns it up. If you think I'm a narcissist, all caps, everybody, that's how you know he's serious. I think maybe you should stop hating me just because I'm right. Look in the mirror and tell yourself that you too can succeed, but not by punching upwards, but by stacking downwards. We got a couple CEOs on. Paul, if you were his PR team, would you say, hey, maybe change, or would you say, hey, you're doing a great job with the public comms here?
In my heart, I would say change. Like, this is a little bit extreme, but at the same time, that seems to be what works in the crypto space. It's almost like just make waves, make news, push buttons. Doesn't matter if they're good or bad buttons. It doesn't matter whose button they happen to be. But embarrassingly, that seems to be our industry. Just piss people off, or at least piss some people off, and you'll make the news. And if you make the news, somehow that helps whatever project you're working on. However, I will, trying to get more into the details of Atom and its architecture and Cosmos as a whole. I have huge respect for Jay. I remember actually having a drink with him and a VC in San Francisco only weeks after he first announced the entire architecture of Tendermint. And he originally wanted it to be integrated into ETH. He was so convinced, hey, this is exactly what ETH needs. We need this architecture for consensus, but he couldn't convince the community to do so. And it was literally, I remember at that discussion where I think it was Jeremy Gardner said, hey, just spin up your own chain. And so he eventually ended up doing that. And I think I give him credit. He has spun up an ecosystem that has been incredibly valuable to a lot of projects. I mean, heck, Binance had used their Cosmos SDK. Thorchain, which I'm a big fan of, uses their technology. But they came to speak at a meetup here in San Diego, the Cosmos team, not Jay himself, but a team from Cosmos. And one of the questions they were asked is, well, what's the exact value of Atom in the grander Cosmos SDK ecosystem? And they could not give an answer. That inherently, I think, is one of the biggest challenges of this entire ecosystem, and Atom itself as an asset, is they've created a great technology that can be used by many other any actual value to the token itself, which is possibly what's creating a lot of this kind of discontent within the community and possible chain split. It's like, hey, how do we keep the value of Atom up? And obviously a lower inflation rate somewhat helps with that. But then again, also inflation helps contribute to the miners, the validators that support the ecosystem. And since when people aren't happy, these kind of disagreements occur.
Yeah, a little bit of a double-edged sword, and for those wondering, yeah, it cuts the inflation rate by about a third. So going from roughly 15 down to 10. Now, Moonin Papa, I'm hearing some pretty positive thoughts on the Atom ecosystem, on the infrastructure, behind it. We're also fans of Thorchain and the Rune coin. What are your thoughts on the Atom ecosystem on Cosmos?
My thoughts are that I think what Paul said was really good. It's all about making waves. So this is ultimately good, even though the CEO's comments on Twitter are pretty cringy, in my opinion. I think it would actually be really good for the project if they do a split, or if they do a fork, excuse me. So because what we've seen in the past with Bitcoin, we've seen it with other tokens as well, is like when we start to get that news of a possible upcoming fork, that's going to drive up the price. That'll help them to pay their bills and stack a couple of sats in their back pockets as the price goes up a little bit higher. Plus, it's going to make the market happy. It's going to bring more attention to everything that's going on. So I'm in favor of that. I mean, it's going to be bullish for the market, so that should be bullish for their token. But as far as the tokenomics go, I don't know, man. My name is Moonin Papa. I mean, come on, cut me a break.
Well, when there's staking rewards, it's kind of hard for coins to moon sometimes there for sure. Now, Scott Herman, we're bringing up the comms there of the CEO. He's kind of out there. He's making some waves. Maybe not shaking hands, more like slapping them away. What do you think? Is this, Paul kind of brought up, is this what crypto wants? Do we want this outspoken leader, kind of like maybe he's carrying Gucci bags as he sits in his Lambo, Richard Hart style? Or do we want him being faceless, boring, in a basement, just building?
Well, I think there's a tier. Like if you get a Gucci bag, it's like low tier. You need at least Louis Vuitton bag. I mean, that's upper echelon. My wife does fashion, so I'll trust her opinion. So here's the thing. My dad engraved something in me at a very young age, especially as I started to have my rise in social media and everything that I do. And he would always say, gained attention, lost respect. And what works in Web3 and this like bitter, like fighting back and forth between whether you're a CEO or a top creator, it makes waves in Web3. But if the whole point is to bring on mass adoption and to get the outside world to look in and pay attention to what we're doing, they're not in Web3. They don't want to see that. Most people don't want to see a CEO conducting themselves that way. It's okay to get a little spicy, but you need to also always make sure that you're on brand, right? You have to always be on brand with what you're doing. So I don't think it's good. I think that if we want to be taken more seriously in this space, we need to conduct ourselves in such a way that says, hey, we're here for mass adoption. We want to bring this thing globally. So again, if you're in an echo chamber of Web3 where everyone's like, it's drama's good for views and whatnot. I come from reality TV. Okay. You get attention and then you lose it and then you lose respect and no one cares.
All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, trying to be not a meme coin. So, it seems like a meme coin marketing tactic might backfire there a little bit. Now, Adam, I wanted to ask you, because you might have a little bit more insight than the rest of us here. Paul brought up a good point, and that's, he didn't say these words, but it's the buying pressure for the token, the utility of the token. I feel like it's, kind of in that I don't want to say meme category, in that bad category, kind of like Uniswap, where governance, we have governance. Is governance enough for Atom? I mean, are there things that maybe I'm not privy to? I mean, are there other reasons to hold Atom?
No, I think you have to buy into the value of the ecosystem, right? And, Cosmos is Cosmos Hub. It wants to have interoperability. It wants to be used by all these systems. We dropped some great examples like Thorchain. I'm a huge fan too. So, when you think about buying a governance token, to your exact point, it's not sexy. Like, why is it exciting to buy a governance token? You're buying the value of that interoperable network. You're buying the value of that underlying tech. So, when you're thinking about that ecosystem and buying that token, you should be betting on or deciding if that ecosystem, that tech stack effectively will bring value. And I think it will, but, going off like that on Twitter is not a way to build an interoperable system where you want everybody to adopt your technology. Like, this isn't a standalone chain. Cosmos is Cosmos Hub for a reason. So you have to bring people into the circle and under the tent, not exclude them.
All right, and guys, again, make sure, let's create a hub here and hit that like button. We'll all be hubbed together. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Terra Classic. everybody, for a reason. Like the biggest movers over the weekend, everybody. You see Terra Classic soared 50% just in one day. If we look at, might pull up the price chart here. Terra Luna, this is the 7-day, more than double just in a short amount of time. There's also their stablecoin had about a 250% pump as well. It didn't hit $1. Okay, it didn't hit $1. It like doubled and tripled in half the pennies. Went up pennies, almost at a dime. Everybody. Well, Terra Luna is pumping everybody, and they're saying, what is going on? Well, a few reasons. Binance future listings for UST Classic. That is the stablecoin. Buckle up. Let's just pull it up, folks. I didn't plan on this. I want to just pull up the stablecoin price chart live. If we let's just do this live. I don't even want to click on it yet. Clicking on it. Oh God, that's just. It's 3 cents. If you see the 7-day, you see the nice little pump. Guys, this used to be $1. Oh, that is not what you want to see in your stable coin right there. They each lost 99% of their value. It felt like seconds. I think it was over days. I think it depegged. It hung around the mid-90s for a little bit. And then, you see it plummeted to pennies right there. Well, Paul, I'm just going to throw it to you first. Let's just, when I say that this ecosystem, you say the stable coin, Terra, Luna, Classic, the new Terra, whatever. Would you touch this ecosystem with a 10-foot pole?
I wouldn't, but I could see why an avid trader, a degen trader would. You see it's volatile, you see it's moving up and down. And I don't know how many people I've talked to that are just day traders and all they care about is volatility. And if they get volatility, they are there. I am not that type of person. I'm not a day trader. I barely trade on a weekly or even a monthly basis. But I know the mentality of what is necessary to kind of drive people in. And for those that are wondering why this thing even has any value, just as a reminder, FTT still has value. The token that even the company that minted says there is no use for FTT token, FTX is gone. We have no way of compensating people any value for this thing. It's still trading at about $3. So if that doesn't tell you something about why the hell people are trading Terra Classic, I don't know what else will. That's just our ecosystem. You let people buy and sell and trade stuff, especially on decentralized exchanges, they absolutely will. And if there's more volatility, then that's what they want. They're driven to it. Not my thing, but that's what we're in.
Mark the Shark, kind of agrees. Luna proving that no crypto will ever die. Nothing goes to zero. Literally, just a figure of speech. I zoomed in here. I wanted to play with your emotions. Terra Luna Classic chart looks worse. All right, we start scrolling. Okay, you can feel, oh man, you can feel the music playing, oh, we're getting excited. This Terra Luna, guys, this is the new thing. This is the new way. Whoa, hey, what happened there? Ouch. Ow, that one stings the nostrils a little bit right there. Scott Herman, what do you think of a resurrection for this community? Would that be a positive story, or would that be ultimately like a black eye for crypto?
Well, I think Paul made a lot of great points, right? People want to go where the volatility is, but I think at this point in crypto, if you're not paying attention to what the sentiment is, and all the big players are saying that gaming is going to lead the next bull run, and if you still want to mess around with these types of tokens that have already had their runs, all the creators have already made all their videos about that they're going to make, everyone has moved on. So yeah, you might see these little ups and downs, and maybe you can get in and get out before the next person does, but like there's such better strategies that you could be doing now if you just put a little bit of research in that could provide much better returns over the course of a longer period of time. Like you need to get out of the 2021, 2022 mindset because most people have moved on. Like this space, as degen as it is, people have smartened up quite a bit in the space. Anybody who's active on Telegram or crypto Twitter and going in different spaces, like people aren't saying the same stupid things they were saying in the last bull run, right? They've recognized that. Yeah, you guys laugh at like people literally like they've leveled up their intelligence and they don't give a shit about oh, we're doing our own DEX and we're doing our own blockchain and we're doing who friggin' cares? The future right now in crypto is going to be gaming. So get your ass in gear, do some research, and find some good games to invest in. Preferably not on Cardano, but I'm sure we'll talk about that next.
Hey, and we just put out a gaming video. Well, I wanted to highlight this price chart because, I think what Mark the Shark said, it isn't technically zero, folks. Let's just imagine the roller coaster of emotions you're feeling here. $75. All right, it's down from 115. Okay. Like I said, not a zero, 0.0001. So it wasn't technically zero, guys. If you had enough, hey, you could pinch rub it together and make $1 eventually. All right, Dr. Adam Lowe. I remember this period. It was everyone's getting free 20% on the stable coins. You know, don't ask the question where the yield comes from. That's a whole nother thought. What are your thoughts on Stablecoin Yield, offering that as a product? Is that a little too risky for what you and your company do, or is that, you know, maybe something further down the line?
Yeah, you know, for what we do, we really want to be some of the best security products in the world. So, you know, we aren't directly going to offer yield on stablecoins. You know, we certainly allow people to connect via Wallet Connect or whatever their favorite partner is to get yield at the favorite places. You know, I'm not a big fan of offering really high, weird, speculative yields that you can see from the last market that did not go well. You know, some places were offering it because essentially they could give less than their cost of capital, and it was a long way around of a loan. So, you know, it's not sustainable over a long period of time. I think that you can look at the risk-free rate and the dollar market versus the stable coin, and if you're multiples of that, there's something inherently wrong.
Well, I mean, when you put it that way, wait a minute, you mean the best money makers in the world are only getting 3%, but I mean this crypto says 9%. I don't know, man, 3x. All right, Moonin Papa.
If VC money's 30%, it's cheaper to give them 9 than take more VC money.
You know, I brought up Richard Hart, but Richard Hart has the best saying on this. I don't play on train tracks to pick up pennies. So guys, don't, when you have $1 in crypto, don't chase that 7 cents at the end of the year. Just be happy with your dollar. All right, Moonin Papa, last question on this one. We'll switch to ADA versus ETH. Do you stake?
I want to talk about Luna. Are you kidding? That's what I woke up early for Luna.
All right.
We
Well,
have to
you know
talk
what?
about
Just
Luna,
give me,
man.
what are your thoughts on Terra Luna, and were you in the ecosystem at all?
Yeah, I have Luna Classic. I bought it a couple months ago just because the narrative's shifting. Scott's talking about narratives
let's
and gaming.
show this chart. I have the 90-day chart here. If you bought a couple months ago, you probably bought around there. Okay, all right.
Yeah. I mean, my name is Moonin Papa for a reason. Like, these are the kind of charts that I love to find because they work out well. So again, Paul is saying that these kind of charts that are super volatile are they're more for day traders. It's true on the short-term trading, but these are the kind of charts that are going to start resurrecting from the dead. FTX at $3, I'm not really surprised. Crypto has a bad name. It will have a bad name for a while, but I'm not here for the name. I'm here for the volatility, and I'm here for the trading, and I'm here for the gains. So USTC got into that, made some money. Luna Classic, already been holding that for a while, made some money, still be holding it, taking profits on the way up. Of course, I'm not one of those like, I'll wait till it pulls a 10x, then I'll take out 5%. No. But trading with the volatility helps you to grow an account. It does require more time, but man, no, it's more exciting and it's more profitable in the short term. So that way we're going to be set up for like Q4 2024, which is when I'm looking at the top of the next bull market.
All right. I'll say personally, once I get 5% or higher, I start puckering a little bit at that rate. All right. I remember when you first got into crypto and you're like 70%, 700%, 7,000%. It all just sounds
exactly.
So good. All right. Let's talk about Cardano versus, that was me last week. Let's talk about Cardano versus Ethereum, everybody. Here we have a fun little graphic. Both, former founders of Ethereum. I don't know what's up with the rhinoceros here, but we have Charles Hoskinson throwing shade while, again, I'm bringing up Richard Hart, but I'm pretty sure that's Richard Hart's basement layer right there. But Cardano founder slams Ethereum staking overhaul plans. Mostly it was Vitalik's recent ideas on how to improve the decentralization of Ethereum staking. And he threw out some UTXO approach, which is basically based on an unspent transaction. I have this little graphic. It's supposed to make this easy, but I mean, I don't know if this will ever be digestible or palatable for the general public here, but this is just the UTXO model versus just the regular transaction model here. Before we get into the weeds, too bad, Dr. Adam Lowe, I mean, is there a way you could describe this like I'm a not only 5, but a dumb 5-year-old, the Fortnite kid? Can you explain what the separation of UTXO, what all this means to a layman?
Yeah, so if you watch Vitalik's video, I think he does a pretty good job. So imagine instead of an account-based model where I send you 1 token and you get that token and you send 1 token back and you get 1 token, it's very linear. Imagine that I send you 1 and it gets broken into several. And then when you send it back, a new one is minted. So basically someone can't force a token into your account. So imagine breaking up tokens along the way every time you send it to someone. It's more complex to implement. It's harder to understand. And when you go to send them, you have to actually form a plan. So you have to pick the right UTXOs and then send it to someone. So it's not trivial, and it does make things more complex. And as we just seen, it's harder for the average person to understand. All of that said, it should be abstracted away for the average user, right? Bitcoin's a UTXO model. Everybody knows Bitcoin, and no one cares that it's a UTXO model.
Well, Paul, what do you think of the proposed upgrade? You know, I mean, Charles, he has a cheeky tweet right here. Here's the Vitalik tweet of Stake with Pride, big fan of that account, met them, a super nice person. No worries, Ethereum 3 will have it all sorted. I mean, is there any truth to this? Is he just being kind of a little jokester here? Or, I mean, do you see Ethereum maybe upgrading 5 years in the future, 10 years in the future?
Well, I think it'll keep upgrading. That's part of their culture in contrast to Bitcoin. However, I don't know that UTXO is specifically an upgrade for a currency that entirely is trying to be much more DeFi oriented, DApp focused, smart contract oriented.
Smart contract, yeah.
Probably the biggest challenge with Cardano, which made it difficult for a lot of developers and like wallets to support, is this weird UTXO yet smart contract based architecture. Because really you own UTXOs and you can sign a signature for a specific UTXO. But with account-based models, such as what Ethereum and many other currencies like Cosmos-oriented currencies, that allows you to specifically know that this one address, and that's the one address I have for my account, is able to access various smart contracts. And it owns whatever assets are deposited. Most UTXO models, while they don't necessarily have to, also tend to be not just UTXO, but rotating address. This is something that an early wallet in the space tried to do with Ethereum. If anyone remembers Jax, co-founder of Ethereum, Anthony Diorio had developed, he tried to create a rotating address wallet for Ethereum and other account-based currencies. And that created a lot of issues with having multiple addresses, multiple accounts, trying to access various smart contracts. And similar issues arose with Cardano. So I don't know that this is necessarily going to be much of an upgrade. I think one of the biggest issues with staking on Ethereum isn't necessarily solved by anything UTXO based. Really, it's you got to get staking into the hands of many, many, many more people and not staking through centralized institutions. I think that's what caused a lot of the centralization of Ethereum, is people effectively deposited their tokens with a custodian, and that custodian unilaterally was able to stake however they wanted with those funds. Some other protocols that I'm aware of, I know specifically FIO because I'm very tight with that protocol. We have it integrated in Edge, allows someone to, while they have tokens with a specific wallet, choose who they're really staking with. Like what are the rule sets? Who are the delegators that they're choosing to be staked with? Really giving people that choice helps decentralize their options, as opposed to, boom, this one gigantic custodian just basically stakes for everybody. It's a tough problem to solve. I think that's really at the heart of what the challenge was, and especially requiring the 30 ETH, which many people don't have. Requiring that really puts the power into the hands of the large custodians and therefore centralizes it. Much more fluid, liquid staking of smaller amounts would definitely help that problem.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting to see. And yeah, I mean, ETH, yeah, definitely an upgrade culture behind that protocol. Good point there. Scott, I pulled up Charles Hoskinson's socials here. I didn't know how much he was going to be waiting in. I didn't plan this. I just clicked on replies. He's waiting in there, folks. I mean, here he is. You know, he's replying to memes. Luckily, that's clothing on Dr. Manhattan right here. We might have got canceled otherwise. So, I mean, he's out there. He's not afraid to mix it up with some memes, with a little internet humor, a little internet culture. But he's attacking ETH, and some say it's because of his history. Scott, is Charles biased against ETH, and does that color or cloud his judgment?
So here's the thing: like, it's okay to respond to people, right? As long as you're savvy about it, right? You have to be able to respond in a way that gets your point across without coming across as angry. You have to defend yourself. Like, people get mad like when you defend yourself. Well, yeah, if you're name calling and things like that, it's no good. But if you can be very savvy and like a little sarcastic with your tweets and funny, people like that. I think Elon Musk is probably the greatest example of it. He's probably a little salty, obviously, because Cardano was getting just absolutely slammed all the time. especially by Alex Becker during the last bull run. And at the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. Like, what's being built on Cardano? What are the best projects coming out of Cardano? Like, that's what you should be focusing on if you want to showcase that you have a great blockchain, right? That's why, with WAGMI for Ethereum, like, we're building on Ethereum, and there's a lot of other projects that are building there, and these projects can work together. But eventually, all of these different blockchains are going to have to talk to each other if we want mass adoption. So the fighting that's happening now, I think, has a lot of ego involved, right? But if we want to really take things to the next level, the next bull run, egos need to drop. People need to find ways to work together and just move on, just move forward.
All right. Well, I want to do the opposite of that. So, Moonin Papa, let's escalate the situation. Let's not diffuse here. Should Vitalik wade in? Should he respond to Charles' criticisms? Maybe bring up an old email or say, "Hey, that's why you're not on ETH anymore." Would that be positive or negative for Ethereum Foundation, the coin's price, etc.?
I mean, the only thing I can imagine Vitalik saying to Charles would be, "What?"
Yes.
This space is ridiculous.
Then you do this.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, I mean, I don't ever see Vitalik doing something like that, responding in such a way to Charles. Like, he's too much in his own world, too much in his shell, and Ethereum has just a much bigger market cap, and it's used way more than Cardano is. Like, I get that. I mean, we talked about this, I think, last week when I was on. Like, Charles is a good guy. He's trying really hard. Their team is working really hard, but are they growing? Like, is there mass adoption growing through Cardano? I mean, I don't see it. Like, I like to look at things in a really simplistic way. Simple is best in so many ways, in music, in art, and even in crypto. So Bitcoin works because it's simple to a degree. I know it's not simple for everybody, but as soon as we start showing charts that are making me feel like I am losing my mind, like going back to like calculus, it's like, I don't know what that means. Like, tell me how it benefits me as the consumer. How does it make my life better? I don't see this making my life better because it's not explained in such a clear way. Not that I'm a dummy, but I think most people need to know, how is this better than the competitor? What makes this stand out more? I think they just need to speak in such a way that they need to get out of themselves and remember that they're talking to primarily a bunch of degens like me. I mean, again, it says Moonin Papa. So, I mean, you got to explain it to a guy like this to help me understand, why is this new protocol better for me as a trader and an investor?
And Moonin Papa, underrated Vitalik impression there. I'll be thinking about that one for a bit. Can we share this picture real quick? I'm going to go around the blockchain. Now, we're not asking for a price prediction. This is just a personal preference. Price can be removed from your equation here. Paul, and they're going to be watching you. Them two are looking at you as you make your choice, Paul. Go back to the photo. It's add a little pressure. Paul, would you rather hold ADA or Cardano for 1 year? And they're watching.
ADA or Cardano? That's a tough choice.
Oh, I'm sorry. ETH or ADA. ETH or ADA. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here trying to zoom and pinch and scroll here.
Yeah, for me, definitely ETH.
ETH. No, okay, holding ETH. All right, WAGMI. Scott, sorry. Which one are you holding? Are you holding ETH or Ethereum? Sorry, I had to do it.
I'm definitely holding ETH. 100%.
Okay. All right. Adam, man, we're getting a little bit of a streak going here. Adam, are you holding Cardano or Ethereum for 1 year?
If I'm speculating, I think Cardano has more upside. Ooh. I love ETH, and most of mine's on Arbitrum, but I think Cardano has more financial upside.
All right, and Moonin Papa, which one are you going to say? You're going to say Cardano or Ethereum? They're watching.
Oh man, I love this picture. Definitely. I mean, if I'm looking to hold for a year, Cardano. I mean, Ethereum's already had a massive run. The market cap's already so bloated. It's going to have a good run come next year, but it's not going to go as high as a lot of coins that are still under $1. So mainly for that reason.
All right, let us know in the chat. It looks like Cardano maybe going to take the cake here in the beginning. So ETH, the ETH fans, let us know, which one are you going to want to hold for 12 months? Personally, 5 years, I'd probably go ETH. 12 months, I'm probably going to go Cardano. That would be my choice. So let us know what you think of our choices. Tell us how right we were, how wrong we were. Now, Adam, they're going to want me to put you up front, but Paul, I think you were there for the Cosmos Genesis. If you could just give us a little background, what was going on with that lunch? We're going to go wrap up the show. you don't mind just maybe regaling us with a tale from that? He wanted it on ETH. Was he raising money at this point? I mean, what give us a little background there.
Yeah, he had just proposed the entire Tendermint kind of consensus mechanism, saying, "Hey, I think it's a great idea. It's super efficient. You don't need proof of work mining. We can get validation, verification of blocks in seconds. I think ETH needs this." And he was really trying to convince Vitalik to put this into ETH, and he couldn't get the entire Ethereum ecosystem to budge. But granted, the ecosystem was fairly new. They were just trying to get on their feet. They didn't want to make any major changes. That would have been a huge major change. And at the time, there wasn't really the battle of the layer ones. In a way, Cosmos was one of the first entries into the battle of the layer ones. And as I'd mentioned, Jeremy Gardner was in that table, like the three of us, and he said, just launch our own chain. Guys, go and launch it. If they're not going to budge, then heck, there's more for you to be made anyway in launching your own chain with its own coin. And there went now the plethora of layer ones that we now see, with everyone trying to enter with sometimes almost an identical copy paste, and sometimes with a new whiz bang idea that they think is going to be the faster, smarter, cheaper, better developer chain. But I feel like that was kind of the moment when the concept of, hey, let's build out new layer ones and compete with ETH had first started, at least in my mind.
Little background: did you get in early on the coin?
I didn't get early on damn well any coins. I'm too darn. I'm so heads down building what I build. Right. It's just that I remember the crowd fund for ETH. Right. The original crowd sale. I said to myself, I should buy some of that. I'll put like $1,000 or $5,000 into it. And then before I knew it all passed. I'm like,
was that 13 cents? What was the price then? 11 cents? 10 cents
or so.
Guys. Yeah, it was pennies. It was coins.
Is that what
it
you
was
think
change.
about at 2:00 in the morning when you're just laying in bed thinking about?
I can't. If I do that, I won't live. I won't do anything. Yeah, I just won't think of anything. I'll get nothing done if I keep that on my mind. So I've moved past it. I'm enjoying being in this ecosystem, getting to talk with great people like you guys and go to conferences and know that we're changing the world, sometimes for better, sometimes for degens, and then continue on. Put it behind me.
Hey, great. That is a great mentality to have. And guys, if you want to also have a great mentality, hit that like button. You'll feel the positive energy flowing from your fingertip, converting into ones and zeros. And then you will make Bitcoin's price go up somehow. I don't know how it works. It just does. And guys, I want to give a big shout out to Edge Wallet and of course, Arculus. Check out both those products. WAGMI Games as well. And Moonin Papa I forgot the name. Moonin Papa. What's the name with you and Garrett's thing?
We all need our own lights. He has his own Moonin Papa light back there.
Seriously, guys, get with it. I mean, come on. I even have you guys have your shirts though. That's good. Yeah, verified investing and better traders. Yeah.
Right. Appreciate that. And guys, links are going to be down in the description below. Check out those products. Check out their accounts. Follow them. They're obviously really, really great thoughts coming out of their head. So that's all we got for today. And we'll see you tomorrow.